Terminds, Illuminate, Automatons, you can name whoever. All Xenos are given the equivalent treatment of the chainsaw specialty on the dinner table. Not a single one's excluded from the chainsaw massacre. Beforehand, we had the stun lance, the ultimate weapon of putting destruction. And honestly, if you needed to kill any heavy, for example a charger, you had to shove its stick up its ass about 6 times. But this time, with the release of the Python Commander's Warbond, we've received our greatest melee weapon. The greatest plant trimmer on this side of the universe. The chainsaw, my man, the chainsaw! Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chainsaw Bootcamp. You'll be learning aggressively on how to trim your enemies into the perfect bonsai trees. Before we get into gritty details, let me actually break down the video and explain to you what each section's gonna be about. First of all, and most importantly, all of the music that you hear in this video will be in the description below in chronological order. Secondly, we're going to use the Doomguy armor from the Superstore, which has the Rock Solid passive, which has a 100% increase in melee damage and resistance to ragdolling. For me personally, if you're going pure melee and you're not worried about any weapons that require better handling, this is like perfect. Like, this is absolutely amazing if you just need to like fucking melee something and just, you know, not be ragdolled for it. As for what those reasons are, I will explain later in this video. Thirdly, I'll talk about each faction, and after I talk about a faction, I will also discuss the loadouts you can bring for them. Now, before we begin with the Terminds, let me explain some of the chainsaw's mechanics. First of all, this bad boy starts off with level 3 armor penetration, before it ramps up into level 5 anti-tank. Level 5 anti-tank means you can quite literally kill anything in the game with enough dedication, for example, the Leviathan. And sorry to spoil your fun, but I'm not gonna show you how to kill a Leviathan with a goddamn chainsaw. I'm sorry, I just do not have that sort of time. The chainsaw also sports a damage of 300 per swing with 150 durable damage, alongside 30 demolition force when it's fully ramped up. Now, for those who don't understand the math of durable damage, let me explain. It'll be a bit lengthy, but trust me, I think you're gonna need this. First of all, here's the formula. We have durable damage times, well, 0. Whatever the durable percentage is of the part itself. Then add that together with base damage times 0. Whatever the leftover non-durable part is. And then add them together and you get your, well, base damage result. Now, to explain the abomination of that fucking formula, let us grab a charger. The wiki states that one of its armored front legs is about 70% durable. The chainsaw at its base damage does about 300 with 150 durable damage. Now let us take the 150 durable damage and times it by 0.7, which gives you 105 durable damage. The 0.7 comes from the 70% that I previously mentioned. Let us say if the charger's leg armor was, I don't know, 50% durable, it would be 0.5 instead. Now, that 0.5 was just there to help you visualize it, so I hope that made it easier to understand, so let us continue. Now, remember, I said the charger's leg armor is 70% durable, so take the remaining 30% that isn't considered durable, and take the base damage and times it by 0.3, which gives us 90 base damage. Now, take the 90 base damage and add that together with the 105 durable damage we calculated from before, and we get 195 base damage per swing. Remember, we get 100% damage increase from the Rock Solid passive, so the chainsaw's damage goes up to 600 per swing instead. I'm sure you can do the math yourself, you don't need my help for that, but if not, that's fine, not like it matters if you grind the chainsaw on something long enough. The chainsaw has something I'd like to call a sticky mechanic, where the chainsaw literally just sticks itself to an enemy once it starts grinding on it. Now, it doesn't stick itself to an enemy too hard if you attempt to pull the weapon away, but it will cause you some issues if you're fighting with hordes. This weakness can easily be mitigated by just simply swapping weapons and swapping back to the chainsaw. And I know that sounds incredibly stupid, but trust me, you're gonna need to learn this if you're gonna fight like 50 fucking warriors on the sidewalk. I will also explain what ragdoll attacks the rock solid passive can resist for each faction as I talk about them. It's just a lot easier to do that for you and me instead of dumping it all in one go. Remember when I said that the chainsaw has 300 damage per swing? How much damage do you think the chainsaw is actually doing when it's, you know, grinding against something like an enemy or a structure? How much do you think it is? Well, to answer that question, it's roughly 300 damage every second. To prove this fury, here's a clip I have of me cutting down a spore tree using the chainsaw. As you can see, it takes roughly 5 seconds for the spore tree to be completely destroyed using the chainsaw. According to the wiki, the spore tree has roughly 2,500 health. Considering that we're using the rock solid passive, our damage increases by 100%, so we're doing 600 damage instead. Over the course of 5 seconds, if you do the maths, 600 times 5 is about 3,000 damage. So your time to kill on just about any enemy will depend on what weak spot you hit them in and how long you're gonna grind against it. Finally, after all the boring talk and all the yippee yap and all the math, we can actually begin trimming the garden that is each faction. First of all, we got the Terminds. The little buggers, such as the Scavenger, the Spearer, and you know, all the little guys will simply just pop out of existence if the chainsaw were to even fucking stare at them. Hunters will die to quite literally any hit from the chainsaw and will just straight up explode if the chainsaw grinds against them for like more than just a second. Warriors will die in quite literally one hit, mostly because you'll be either hitting them in the face or the back of their tail. Alpha Commanders will quite literally die in one hit to the face or about 2 seconds of just grinding on their body from the back or from the side. Spears will die instantly if you go for the head. Just please do not grind your sack. You will not have a nice time, I am telling you. It is not a bath, it is full of acidic properties. Chargers will die quickest if you manage to start grinding on one of their legs as soon as possible. Otherwise you could go for the side armor, though trust me, that's easier said than done and it will take way longer. Though it does look pretty fucking rad if you manage to do it. Hive guards will die in quite literally one hit if you manage to hit their mouth in particular, or just give them about 2 seconds of grinding with the chainsaw. Now, you can kill Shriekers with the chainsaw, but if you're doing that, you either have way too much free time on the battlefield, and you're just fucking about. Other than that, do wide swings, the widest swings you can, and try to hit their wings, and they'll just straight up die. Honestly, it doesn't matter where you hit the stalker, as long as the chainsaw hits them, they'll be grinded to death. The problem is they will always hit you first, because they're way faster. Now, to somewhat fight stalkers, you have about 3 different solutions. The first crazy one is that you just, you know, stim yourself and just fucking YOLO. Or you can bring the whole shotgun, stun them, and then hit them with the chainsaw. That's one solution. The other one I have is more like stagger. Bring the Punisher Plasma, or just any gun that can, like, you know, stagger them, and once you're close enough, hit them with the chainsaw. If you're fighting multiple stalkers, well, the best thing I can truly say is I hope you're quick on your feet, and you have the, the determination. As for Bile Titans, I'll be frank, it is more than doable, but you're quite literally preparing the Titan like some sort of turkey dish for Thanksgiving, because you will die more often than you would actually even kill a single Bile Titan. I shit you not, I tried. The hover pack was like the most obvious answer. You would literally just hover towards their face and start grinding. But no, it's not that fucking easy now, is it? The problem is, I think this would have been a lot easier if the hover pack would actually register you landing on the back of the Titan. But no, it doesn't do that. It's as if it doesn't recognize the fact that the Bile Titan is a physical object that you can land on. And instead, you literally just phase through its stomach and just go back to the ground, which is not what you would want. You can melee using the hover pack, and yes, you can grind against the Titan, but with how little airtime you get with the hover pack, and how do I put it? 6,000 health of the Bile Titan, yeah? and you only do, like, God forbid, let's not even get into durable damage. It just takes way too long using the chainsaw. Now, you will see in this clip that I did eventually kill the Titan, but it took, like, I think, like, almost like all 5 reinforcements just to kill one Titan, man. It's just not worth doing with the chainsaw. Well, with that said and all about the Terminds, let's talk about managing hordes with the chainsaw. Don't worry, this will apply to all other factions later in the video. In fact, it's quite universal. I think you'll get the gist as I talk about the other 2 factions later on. Remember when I said earlier, when the chainsaw tends to stick to like a single target and grind against it even if it's dead? This can be a rather big issue when you're trying to deal with like a horde by yourself and you need to hit like more than 2 fucking targets. One thing we can do to mitigate this as much as possible is that we literally have to drag the chainsaw away from the dead body or from the enemy to either the really far left or the really far right, like you may have seen previously in this video. I'll show you a few clips here and there of how I'm doing it, but you would mostly have to try it out yourself to get a feel for it. This will be really helpful when you're fighting like multiple hunters, multiple warriors, multiple of anything really, especially if you can hit multiple weak spots at the same time, like their heads. Another technique we'll be using alongside this is the, well, just swapping your chainsaw out to your primary or your secondary or quite literally anything else. This helps when you notice that your chainsaw is literally just stuck to either a dead body or to an enemy that's about to die. Like, there's no need for your chainsaw to be there, so just quickly swap it out. You could drag it, and it might do the job, but honestly, it's just way faster to swap out the chainsaw. Okay, right, let's talk about something rather funny regarding the bugs. I shit you not, the bugs physically do not have their claws over there. I know you can see them, and I know they can hurt you, but I shit you not, there is just physically not there for you to run into. You can just watch this clip of me just running around in the Meganess trying to close all of the holes possible. You can see me just running through all of the hive guards, like their arms just physically do not stop me in place. It's honestly really funny. As you can see, they physically do not have their claws there. They're just floating fucking sausages, and I swear these stems are making me see things. They're making me see things that just do not exist. This will be incredibly helpful to you when you just need to run circles around like a massive horde and just avoid taking damage.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Sometimes it could be just your one escape that you need if you know that you can see a path forward. Honestly, there's only one thing that doesn't stagger anymore on the bug front with the rock solid passive, and I think it's fucking fantastic. Stalkers literally cannot send you flying anymore. Honestly, it's amazing. This armor is a fucking blessing. You can quite literally stand there as if nothing happened, as if it just fucking tickled you, and it's even better when you pair with the ballistic shield. Right, so since I don't want this video to take too long, I'm just gonna very quickly throw out some loadouts. First, we're gonna make 2 permanent additions. We're gonna need anti-tank, and we're gonna need a second form of crowd control besides ourselves. First of all, EATs, Expendable Anti-Tank. They're beautiful, they're amazing, you can call them every 60 seconds if you have all the ship upgrades. They are just absolutely fantastic to have. Grab them, okay, no fucking question. You can use them to deal with basically every heavy in the game. Bring another form of crowd control. This could be anything. This could be the Tesla Tower, which I personally find to be the best. You could also bring gas mines if you want to deal with a bug breach altogether. And honestly, that's about it. Now let's go into it very quickly as to what kind of backpack pairs well with the chainsaw. If any of you watched my demo warping video from before, the video before this one, you would know that you can kill heavies and just about anything in the game, well, not including titans, with just the warp pack alone. This is an extremely risky style, but really rewarding if you can pull it off. While you're trying to kill something with the chainsaw, you can escape using your warp pack without any problem. Just choose a direction and you'll be perfectly safe. This basically means you can, in theory, fight with only your chainsaw and don't get hit at all. Though, to be fair, that's easier said than done. Next up, we have the jump pack. Very similar to the warp pack in terms of escaping from hordes while chainsawing. It's the closest thing you're gonna feel like to being Doom Guy, because you can literally jump on top of chargers and start chainsawing their fucking backside like it's nothing. Exactly like the warp pack, you can be in the middle of chainsawing an enemy alive and you can literally jump pack yourself away from the fight. Fourthly, we have my favorite loadout, the ballistic shield paired with the stun lance paired with the chainsaw. The stun lance paired with the ballistic shield will basically be your ultimate form of crowd control at close range. And the chainsaw will be your answer to just about any charger that you meet or any impaler. If you saw my first ever melee guide video on this YouTube channel, you should be more than prepared to, well, basically fight anything with stun lance and ballistic shield, to be honest. Lastly, I would like to call this loadout the Stim Addiction loadout, because all you're using is a supply pack paired with the chainsaw. Assuming you've become some sort of, I don't know, some master of the chainsaw, you could crowd control properly, swap it, all of that fun stuff. You can quite literally fight anything as long as you have the stims to go through with it. As for primaries, I bring the whole shotgun personally. The fact that you can switch to stun rounds and stun just about almost any enemy in the game, not including Vile Titans or Impalers. Honestly, being able to use the whole shotgun to stun a charger and then just walk up to it like it's nobody's business and fucking chainsaw to death is honestly gratifying. For secondaries and grenades, you can bring anything you want. I personally bring the normal frag grenades, which you have 6 of, and you can literally use that to close any buggle. I believe we covered all bases with the Terminid faction, so I believe we can move on swiftly to the Illuminate. Okay, this will be fairly quick, because the Illuminate don't really have that many units to begin with. The chainsaw absolutely dominates the Illuminate Horde. Honestly, I think it was quite literally made for it. As you can see from this clip, I'm literally just swinging my chainsaw left and right without a care in the world. The only time it cannot handle a horde is if you literally see the Illuminate circling you like a fucking swarm of mosquitoes. This is when you know you've personally fucked up, because they will start rapidly attacking you with their fucking hand claw thingies, and not even a stim can save you at that point. Honestly, this only happens if you let any of the voteless literally go behind you as you're chainsawing. Make sure there's nothing behind you, and you keep chainsawing everything that try to goes past you. Because if you don't, well, it was nice knowing you. Overseers by themselves, and especially the staff guys, literally do not have shit on you, because they literally cannot ragdoll you due to the rock solid passive that you have. But do be incredibly careful if there are multiple, because if there's like, I don't know, let's say 4 overseers trying to swing at you, you're dead at that point. Not even a stim can save you. A single staff attack does like half of your HP, so if there's like even 2 or more, you're just dead. I'm sorry. Flying overseers surprisingly die incredibly quickly because of the nerf they got recently in the patch. You can stun them using the whole shotgun or just about anything, or if you can even get close to them, just hit their legs and they just fall to the floor. Okay, so flesh mobs are rather interesting, you see. In Fury, you should be able to kill them fairly quickly, especially with the fact that they have the weak spots now on their faces. The issue is, if you were to stun them with either the whole shotgun or you manage to stun them with the chainsaw, for some reason, it's like Joel comes into the game and just gives them a magical fucking barrier, and you cannot go, like, you literally cannot go next to them. There's like a magical barrier that prevents you to get any closer. I am really not sure why that's the case. Because I'm pretty sure if that wasn't the case, the fact that you're able to grind your chainsaw into a flesh mob would quite literally just, you would just straight up murder them. They would have like no chance, I'm pretty sure. Okay, right, let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Yes, you can kill a harvester. Is it feasible in middle of combat using a chainsaw? Yeah, no, not really. And you know what, I'll let you guys have fun with that. I'm not gonna torture myself doing this. Honestly, in terms of loadout, I don't really have anything for the Illuminate. I just use the supply backpack for infinite stims and grenades, so I can just continue murdering whole hordes for fun. If there's anything to take away in terms of loadout, bring the Tesla Tower. That is always a must. It will take care of like 90% of the horde for you, and you can just pick off the rest. And if you need something to do with harvesters, just take out the shield, drop the occasional 500 kg, and you'll be Gucci. I guess this segments us towards our last faction, the Automatons, and you know what, funny enough, the chainsaw works way better than I actually thought. For our first one, if you're ever going to be fighting troopers of any variety, especially the ones that have an explosive backpack, make a habit from cutting them from the bottom half. Do not go for the top, even if it looks stupid easy, because, well, as I said before, some troopers, like the MG Raider, have a backpack that will explode upon death. And the last thing you need is something randomly blowing up in your face while you're in the middle of a, well, chainsaw gunfight? How does that even work? Besides Berserkers, all other Devastator types have exactly the same health pool, so honestly, there's only one weak point you need to go for. Literally, like, their only weak point that they have is their ankles, bro. Just go for their ankles. Just let that chainsaw grind against their ankle. They will die in literally like half a second. Heck, even faster if it's already grinding. Like, take a look at some of this footage. Look at me soloing entire hordes of, like, Incineration Corp shotgun bastards and even more. Just touch their ankles, bro. They just die. I don't know what's with their ankles. They just fall over. Okay, Berserkers are a lot harder, mainly because you cannot just touch their ankles as well and they'll just fall over. What you need to do really is to try to cut them from the stomach, but that can be problematic since they are way faster than you as well, similar to Stalkers, and they will hit you. So your best chance to kill them is 1, hit them in the ankle and just very quickly swipe them through the middle clean. That's about the best I have got for you for dealing with multiple Devastator hordes, so I wish you luck and make me proud. As for tanks, they only have 2 weak points really. One is the vent and one is the transmission on the back. If you're gonna plan to kill a tank, run behind them and hit them in the transmission. You could try and climb and hit them in the vents, but that's just more time consuming. Don't waste your time. You could try and kill them the long way, where all you do is just grind against them across, just, you know, torturing them. But all that does is, like, slowly drip down their main health pool, and that's really time consuming. You really want to kill them as fast as you can. Hulks can be one of the easiest enemies, but also some of the hardest enemies to kill because of their jank physics, bro. Really, the strategy is to just run around, get behind them, and start chainsawing, and as soon as they're stunned, just keep the chainsaw there, and they'll just die. It gets even better, honestly, because you can use the Hulk as like a kind of shield from any enemy that's trying to shoot you on the other side of the Hulk. Honestly, it's pretty good. Okay, Scout Striders. Honestly, they're not much to write home about. Just go up to them. If you're in front of them, try to just swing upwards really wide. Hit their bottom plate and they'll just fall over and die. Either that or hit their legs. Besides the obvious big elephant in the room, the fucking Factory Strider, War Striders will take you the longest to kill, honestly. So, the only place you can really chainsaw is their legs, and their legs have about 1500 HP with 80% durability. Now, I'm not going to make you do the math for that, I'm just going to straight up tell you, it'll take you like 7 to 8 seconds to kill like a single War Strider. So, I pray you have something that instantly nukes them as soon as you get close to them. Either that or you're in for the long one. For some reason, and if somehow you manage to get on top of a Factory Strider with the chainsaw, you can go straight for their head, and long story short, it'll take you 20 seconds. Quite literally, 20 seconds from removing the armor from their head to straight up killing them. Is this fucking practical? Absolutely goddamn not. But, is it fun to do? And if you manage to do it, you feel like a badass? Absolutely. In theory, you could grind their ankles as well, but, like, I'm not gonna bother with that, man. You guys can go have fun with that shit. I got other things to do, man. Honestly, in terms of loadouts for the Automatons, I don't really have much footage besides, you know, the Stim Addiction loadout from before. You can bring the jump pack or the warp pack for escapes if you need to, if you want to chainsaw your way out of a situation. Make sure you bring something to stagger, something like the Slugger would do the job, or just about any of the other Warbond premium weapons that have stagger. I personally used the super shotgun that we got recently in the superstore. Man, this thing is a fucking beauty, it is. Otherwise, that's really all I got for you. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you want to stay notified. I can't promise when I'm gonna upload next. I'm not sure when the next upload's going to be. I got like a rather massive anime video on the way where it's literally just like my 10 years of doing nothing but read romance mangas. Well, mostly romance mangas, and that's gonna be one hell of a fucking project for me to do. So, up until that video is uploaded, expect me to have the milk back sometime next year. Otherwise, I might just focus on any small videos in the meantime, maybe some, I don't know, let's plays, maybe something to do with funny moments, I'm not sure. I'm still thinking. The only reason I haven't uploaded for so long is because I quite literally have no idea what I want to do. Besides that, all the music you want is in the description in chronological order. If I missed anything, please tell me. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you later. Until then.
Shortcut here.
I'm on where?
Coming.
What the fuck did I just see?